Women stay too long in a relationship first out of love, and then I think it moves into more of necessity. Let me explain. I know women, and I have coached women who are 50 plus, sometimes almost close to their 60s, and have been with the same man, call it 15, 20 years or more. And they were with this man from the time they were very, very young. In some cases, some of them were with them from the time they were teenagers. And the number one thing I hear is, oh, well, Julian, I love him. And I loved him. He was so charming when we met. We met at the bar or what have you. Mind you, I'm a Christian. I don't believe that you should drink, but these are just real life situations, right? We live in a real world. We met at the bar and he was charming. We kept talking and we immediately hit it off and got married inside of a year, 6 months to a year. And the rest is history. Kids, house, cars, whatever, dogs, whatever. And so I said to him, okay, so you said that he was charming, you loved him, but now you're coming to me to ask for relationship advice. What is going on? And the response I get is, well, things have been rocky as of late, and he is kind of distant, and so I've become distant. And so now we get to the whole strangers kind of passing each other like two ships in the night. And so I immediately hone in on, do you feel like you guys are growing apart? What activities did you used to do together that you don't do together? And you find that a lot of couples, they begin to grow apart when they have bonded in a certain way. And I might do a whole separate video on that. So I might do a whole separate video on probably trauma bonding. I'm not a therapist, but I can at least give you my perspective on trauma bonding because I've experienced some trauma bonding in my life, and so I can talk about it. But they may have experienced a common bond through trauma or a common bond through poor habits. Oh, we met at the bar. Also, you guys used to drink together? Yeah. How often you used to drink together? Oh, maybe once or twice a week. You guys go to the same bar? Yeah, every week. Same bar stool, same table, same kind of drinks. And then suddenly one of the partners decides that the drinking is too much. One of the partners decides that, I put on a little bit too much weight with this beer. Or I don't like how I feel in the morning anymore. I'm drinking too much wine. So somebody decides to clean up their act, but the other one doesn't. And so this is where we get the two ships thing. One person is still moving in one direction, and the other person is moving in the opposite direction at different times. And so what bonded the couple initially is no longer there. So it started off with love, but then you grow over time. So you got to ask yourself, am I growing with my partner? Am I growing with my spouse? If you're dating, is this somebody who I could see myself growing with? Is this a person who is adaptable and flexible? Or is this a more rigid person? This is a person who's, no, I want to be married by 30. I want to have 2 kids by 32. I want to have a dog by 35. I want my dream job by 37. I want this salary. Now, it's okay to have goals, but if this person is so rigid in their goals or in their aspirations and things like that, these are just things to look at. I'm not saying to run, at least not on this video. I'm saying these are things to look at because when you meet a rigid person over time, I've coached a woman who married a man in the military. That's a rigid lifestyle. Now, when you're young and in your 20s, you don't think about stuff like that. This is why, if you're watching me, I'm telling you now, no matter whether you're 20s, 30s, 40s, and up, I'm telling you now to at least weigh these things when you begin to date. This is how you pick the right partner. This is somebody that this one client of mine married. And so drinking was probably a social activity, and it continued, or it could continue. And she wasn't down for it anymore. So you get the disconnect. Because, so are you bonding with the appropriate or in the appropriate venue, in the appropriate avenue? Or is your relationship based on poor habits? Is your relationship based on poor decision making? Is your relationship based on poor choices? Or did you bond because, and I'm just making this up, you bond because you both like to knit? I don't know many men who like to knit. I met one man who actually likes to knit. Did you bond because you both are runners? Did you bond because you both like to work out? I see that commonly. Two gym rats, so to speak, two people who go to the gym a whole lot, and they both got at least 4 packs of abs. You know, we go for the 6 pack, but at least got a 4 pack. And so they're like, hey, yeah, I want somebody who at least has a 4 pack like me or whatever. Both got buys and tries. Are you bonding with that? Are you bonded by a common sport? I know a couple who got married, both love football. Wife grew up in a football family. Male grew up, husband grew up in a football family. They like different teams, I believe, but they learned to get along and coexist, even with liking different teams. They both loved the game, understood the game, and so that was a common bonding thing. They watched the game every Sunday, you know, and they had their snacks and food ready, and that's a more positive thing to bond around because that's something you can do whether you're 25 or whether you're 65. Odds are, if you like football, you're going to like football. I know almost 70-year-olds who still got season tickets who still go and go watch a game from time to time. So that's a more appropriate way to bond. And so you got to look at, okay, if I met this person around these habits, what happens if I decide to change? And I'm not encouraging you to not change. I'm not encouraging you to change. Obviously, if it's something that's affecting your mental health, affecting your body, your physical health, or anything like that, even if it's affecting your spiritual health, I would recommend and highly recommend that you seek a counselor and seek a life coach. Doesn't have to be me or someone else who you feel comfortable with, to begin working on ways you can cut some of these things off and then keep yourself in the right state of mind to not go back. Because we can't always change our environment completely. It helps. You can just change your environment. That solves half the battle. But if you have to be close to a certain environment, there are ways that you can still move in the environment and not be of the environment, so to speak. So you got to ask yourself, what happens if this goes away? What happens? Do we truly get along, or did we just happen to bump into each other at a vulnerable time and space in our lives? Think about it.